I've decided to make this video after rewatching Volume 2 of Stranger Things, and I was genuinely amazed at how many hidden details I didn't notice the first time around. Even though this volume isn't as packed with obvious references to previous episodes or iconic movies as some fans might expect, it still has its fair share of clever Easter eggs, subtle nods, and visual details that are easy to miss if you're not paying close attention. From small character gestures to background details, and even the way scenes are lit and framed, the Duffer Brothers really layered this season with secrets for eagle-eyed viewers. So, in today's video, I'm going to share with you 10 hidden details that you might have missed. The first clue is found in the first 5 minutes of the show. When Derek and the other kids wake up and Henry takes them to the Creel house, he explains the situation they're in. Henry tells them that he saved them from the monsters, and that the only way to save everyone and stop the darkness from spreading throughout Hawkins is to merge the good world he discovered with their world. By doing so, the darkness would be defeated. After hearing Henry's plan, all of the children start applauding, with the exception of Holly and Derek. This is because Holly and Derek know the truth about Henry, and they know that the good world is actually the bad world. The world where all the monsters are coming from. The next subtle thing you might have missed is Will's eyes while he was trapped in the hive mind. After another badass moment where he tears Vecna's legs apart and helps Max and Holly escape, Will is trapped by Henry in the hive mind, while his body remains unconscious in the real world. We get a shot where the camera zooms in on Will, and we can spot his eyes doing this strange movement. These eye movements are exactly what we saw happening with young Henry when he used his powers. This scene with Will not only mirrors that moment, but also suggests that Will is being used by Vecna in the hive mind. I believe that this scene where Vecna spies on Will's mind is happening right here, not later in the story. Another big thing that most people seem to have overlooked about this scene is the fact that this isn't actually Vecna. It's the Mind Flayer. If you listen closely to what's being said, "I am the one who invited you in. You are my vessel, my spy, my builder." It's clear that the speaker is the Mind Flayer. He's the one who possessed Will back in Season 2, using him as a spy and as a tool to build the tunnels. It wasn't Vecna who gave Will his powers, it was the Mind Flayer, because all of these abilities ultimately come from him, even Henry's powers. And if the dialogue alone doesn't convince you, the show literally gives us a visual confirmation when we see Will getting flayed, proving beyond a doubt who's really behind all of this. This subtle distinction completely changes how we understand the story and the true source of the Upside Down's power. Moving on to the controversial breakup scene between Nancy and Jonathan. I won't dive too deep into this because I already explained everything in my previous video, but the thing you might have missed here isn't that Nancy breaks up with him. It's the fact that Nancy says she hates The Clash. The Clash is featured multiple times throughout the show, and it's Jonathan's favorite band. Jonathan made his brother a tape with The Clash after their father left. Jonathan and Will use those songs to bond, and the band means a lot to them. Will also sings "Should I Stay or Should I Go?" while he's alone in the shack in the Upside Down, a song by The Clash. So Nancy saying that she hates The Clash is like saying she hates a part of Jonathan himself. Another thing you might not have noticed during this unmarried scene is the direct reference to Alice in Wonderland. We all know that Volume 1 was full of references to that movie. Holly's dress, Henry being dressed like the White Rabbit while also being obsessed with clocks, and all the posters on the wall. Now, Volume 2 has its own reference to the popular movie, with this unmarried scene being the most obvious one. In Wonderland, you don't break up, you get unengaged. The wording was purposely chosen as an Easter egg reference to Alice in Wonderland. Another Alice reference appears when Max and Holly discover the hidden cave. This is a clear reference to Alice going down the rabbit hole. Another Easter egg we find while exploring Holly's memories is the movie playing in the basement. Holly and her friend are watching A Nightmare on Elm Street 3: Dream Warriors. We all know how much the Duffer Brothers love referencing that movie, but this Easter egg goes deeper than that. Frank Darabont directed the episode where we see Holly watching the movie. And Frank Darabont was also a co-writer of Dream Warriors, so it's a nice Easter egg to have the co-writer of the movie direct a scene that features his own creation. Mr. Clarke's Mellon moment is another reference to one of the greatest trilogies ever created, The Lord of the Rings. Mellon means friend in Elvish, and it's the password spoken by Gandalf to open the doors of Durin and allow the Fellowship passage into the Dwarven Kingdom of Moria. Mr. Clarke uses the exact same word to open the military gate and allow his friends to storm the base. I just know that Professor Clarke was living the best moment of his life right there. I'm so glad they finally brought Clarke into the action because he's one of my favorite characters and his knowledge has saved the kids multiple times. He's the main reason they were able to face so many dangers from the Upside Down. I've always said that Clarke is like the Wikipedia of Stranger Things, and I'm thrilled that he finally learned about the other dimension. It makes him even more essential to the team. Next up, we have a reference to Season 3, Episode 5. This is the scene where Will wants to play D&D, but Lucas and Mike are too distracted and only thinking about their girlfriends. This makes Will very upset because he's eager to play with his friends and all of a sudden he's left aside. This leads to an argument between him and Mike, where Mike tells him, "It's not my fault you don't like girls." With this exact same phrase, Will later confesses that he is gay. I believe this is a direct reference to that scene. I also believe Mike realizes that he is the crush Will is talking about. He starts connecting all the dots and understands that he messed up big time in that moment. The scene with Lucas, Max, Robin, and Vicky hiding from the Demo dogs in the hospital laundry room is an Easter egg referencing Jurassic Park, where the raptors chase Lex and Tim in the kitchen. The only difference is that the raptors are attracted to sound. When they hear the kitchen tools falling, they chase the noise. Meanwhile, the Demodogs are vibing to Kate Bush and wandering around lost in the laundry room. The follow-up scene where the Demodogs are blown up by the oxygen tank inside the washing machine is another reference. This time to the final scene of Jaws. Karen killing the Demodogs with the oxygen tank explosion mirrors the method Brody used to kill the shark. The final Easter egg is a reference to the Dark Crystal. Honestly, I was amazed that we only got a reference to this epic movie so late into the series. The Dark Crystal had a massive impact on the history of cinematography. It was the first major live-action, feature-length fantasy film from a big studio to use only puppets and creatures, with no human characters at all. It also built an entire mythological world aimed at teens and adults. That's why I'm surprised it took the Duffer Brothers so long to reference such an iconic movie. But maybe that was the plan all along because doing it earlier might have spoiled too much. When Holly wakes up in the abyss and escapes the place where she and the other kids were being held, that location is almost a one-to-one copy of the Castle of the Crystal. In the story, the castle is basically ground zero for everything that goes wrong in Thry. In the same way, the place Holly escapes from is ground zero for everything that goes wrong in the abyss. So maybe the ending of the Dark Crystal could be tied to the ending of Stranger Things. What do you think? Let me know your opinion in the comments. And with that, we conclude our 10 things you might have missed video. I'm curious, how many of these Easter eggs and hidden details did you catch on your own? Were there any that completely surprised you or made you rewatch the scenes just to see them again?